Sunday, 3rd of December 2023. This episode of This and That and what the fuck else, I'm going to talk about more, as much as possible, fun things. Let's call it Sunday is Fun Day. Now, I'm going to start off, as usual, with a slideshow from Russia. It is photographs taken of the fall. The season is changing. What the scenery. For me, the photographer in me can appreciate the images for what it is. But the philosopher in me sees it also for what it is. Times are changing. Now let's start off with this from South Africa. South African coal exports to decline to the lowest level in 30 years. South Africa's rail bottlenecks threaten to curb the coal deliveries to its main export hub. Well, what do you expect? This superior logic and natural intelligence cadres, they're extremely well equipped to fuck things up. Let me go to the EU. Belgium will become the first country in the world to hand over frozen Russian assets to Ukraine. The country's Prime Minister, Alexandre De Croo, said after a meeting with Zelensky that the 1.7 billion euros confiscated from Russia will be used for military matters, humanitarian aid and European aid packages to Ukraine. What he does not include is how much will go to Zelensky and his crew, and the biggest thing to take in mind here, and keep it in your mind, they're stealing Russian assets. They're thieves. And they think they're going to get away with it. This is the West. They've turned into fucking pirates, thieves. All the things that they always accuse other countries of. They are all of that. And then we get this. Ukraine has depleted NATO's reserves, so its members need to increase production. This was stated by NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg. According to him, Russia again intends to use winter as a weapon. So weapons must be produced quickly and a lot. I hope he's referring to coal stoves and wood-burning stoves, because they don't have the fucking gas for anything else. But the weapons they want to produce, where the fuck are they going to produce it? They no longer have the industrial capacity to produce those things. They don't have the energy to drive that industrial base because they were clever and they deindustrialized themselves. Now they're in this shit. And then we listen to Orban. Hungarian Prime Minister Orban, Ukraine will not be able to win on the battlefield. All military experts are already talking about this. But only politicians in Europe do not dare to admit it. And that is the thing. But I have mentioned it previously in other Skidmarks. The main aim here is the killing of the Ukrainian nation. They want the people gone. They only want that land. That's all they want to do. And some more. Finland installs double barriers on the Russian border. One row of fences installed directly on the state border with Russia and another one is already in Finland. Well, the Finnish people are in deep shit and they're beginning to realize it now. They were not so clever to cancel that neutrality accord they had with Russia for 30 or 40 years. And they chose to go with NATO. Now they've got a major fucking problem. And then we go to the Gaza. A father and daughter died under the rubble after an airstrike on their house in Gaza. It's a brutal picture. You have to look at it, you have to think about it. This is what is being done to the Palestinian people in Gaza. I don't care what nationality you are. I don't care what faith group you are. If you approve of the killing like this, there's a major fucking problem in your head. Look, this is what they're doing to Gaza. That is barbaric bombing. And you must understand that bombing civilian people that cannot fight back. But yet, you Zionist followers, you approve of this. Doesn't say much about you. And look at this destruction. Look at that destruction. It is absolutely mind-blowing. And yet, you guys, many of you claim to be Christians, but you approve of this. And here is some more. Look at that. That is what is being done to the Palestinian people. Don't come with that Hamas shit with me. Don't come with that. This is people. This is being done to people. And then we go to Ireland. This is Ireland's Vice Prime Minister. Our country is finished. And if you take a close look at it, you must agree. Ireland is finished. Look at this heap of shit, sack of shit, sitting at the controls in Ireland. The Irish people better wake up. They are destined for destruction. And then we get to our own South Africa. Breaking, almost news. Alan Winde, man enough to arrest Putin, but not sure what a woman is. That is the leader of the party in the Western Cape that a lot of you think is going to be your salvation. These guys has got fucking big plans for you. And then we get this. Classic Trump. Caitlyn Jenner. Now that is a thing with whatever. It's not a woman claiming to be a woman, acting to be a woman, and make a fucking stupid tweet like this. It is so hard to find a straight man that is confident enough to compliment me on my looks. And Trump, in the good old days, responded, nice balls. And more Jenner. In Turkey, the gay parade didn't take root. So that trans people and other LGBT plus people didn't get killed, the police just arrested them all and took them away. How's that? That's how you handle it. And then we get this. LGBT International Social Movement, recognized as extremist by Russia's Supreme Court. Russia, the country that we were told is backwards, people living in clay, in caves and in stone huts. But they are the nation that are protecting morality. And more from Russia. Russia's LGBT ban explained. The country's Supreme Court has designated the international LGBT movement as an extremist group. And then we get this, and this is for all you guys here in South Africa that are so passionately falling on your knees praying for Israel. This is from Benjamin Netanyahu himself on Twitter. Since when has Israel called on Christians around the world to support and stand with Israel? Christianity is not a religion in Israel. Christianity is not a true Jewish teaching. Israel does not recognize Christianity and Islam. Let that sink into your propaganda indoctrinated, saturated brains. And it's not coming from me, it's coming from that Satanist that you are praying for. And then there's some sobering news from the Middle East. CIA. With 942 vessels, Iran is the largest maritime trade power in the Middle East region and owns more than a third of the merchant ships in the region. Russia wants to turn Iran into a transit hub for its grain and other exports to Africa and Asia. At the same time, China is also investing in Iran as part of its Belt and Road Initiative project. take my word, things have changed. Not going to change, it's already changed. The West is just slow to accept the changes. And then we get to the memes. And being Sunday and Funday, I'm going to give you quite a few memes. First one. In these challenging times, if you ever do decide to try cannibalism, may I suggest the vegans? They are grass-fed. And this one is for South Africa specifically. Put this on your dick and stop blaming white people for your problems. Will they take note of that advice? I don't know. And then we have this, and it's around the Springboks. It's a little bit late, but I had to give it. Now, imagine where South Africa would be if white people were included in the economy. But you don't have to, you cannot ask that question to these dimwits. And then there's a meme about news media. Look on that TV. You see the bare head, and you see that frightened person there, and it says, pray for Ukraine. That's the narrative. And then at the bottom you see the whole scene. The bear is protecting her children against the Ukraine's US, NATO and Britain. Let that one sink in. And this one, there was someone that made a comment in one of my videos about this shit. And I said, I can't give you a picture, but I'll use it in a skid mark. Look at this. Well, this is awkward. And you see all the planets there. And nobody has ever claimed that they are not round or spheres. And then you see the flat earth. Truly awkward. And then we get to this one. This is for me. This is applicable to me. Warning. Do not put me on speakerphone. I am not speakerphone material. Remember that. And finally, this meme. All these guys who want to kill the farmers and all that cuck. Look at this. Dangerous farmyard animals. I really enjoyed this one. But let's get back to serious stuff. Graphene hydroxide tweeted, the Moonshot Pact gone to the moon. The DA will lose the Western Cape in 2024 since the vital coloured and Islamic vote that helped them defeat the ANC is now gone. Stand with Palestine is a revolutionary rallying cry that will lead the ANC to retaining its majority in 2024. Let that sink in. And then we get to this. It should have actually been a what the fuck moment. South Africa's finest. Now this is the Minister of Higher Education. Infertility is genetic. If your parents couldn't have kids, you also won't. What the fuck is that? But that's that superior logic and natural intelligence speaking there. And then we get to this one. I have mentioned it, but I'm going to remind you. Ramaphosa calls on teachers to become involved in decolonization of education. President Cyril Ramaphosa says one of the important questions of Education Center is how to grapple with that decolonization. That is what he wants. Now, if you have intelligence, please try and explain to me what does decolonization of education actually mean. And then we get to this ridiculousness. Russia banned by Badminton World Federation. According to the Badminton World Federation, the National Badminton Federation of Russia violated the terms of membership by including representatives of Donetsk, Lugansk People's Republics, as well as Kherson and Zaporizhzhia regions. The West is begging to be wiped out. And then we get to this, and this is a real fun one. UK sends destroyer to the Gulf region. It is critical that the UK bolster our presence in the region to keep Britain and our interests safe from a more volatile and contested world, British Defence Secretary Grant Shapps said. Britain already has the frigate Lancaster, 3 minehunters and a Royal Fleet auxiliary support ship in the region. Now let's get some fucking perspective. This mighty fucking British fleet can't keep semi-naked guys on rubber ducks off their own fucking coastline, off their own beaches. But they want to go and fuck around in the Middle East. What is that? Illusions of grandeur. The same fucking British fleet that has now taken 2 of their aircraft carriers that has never been actually effectively deployed. They've got the one now in a dock, stripping it for spare parts for the other one, because when they sent that other one out on its maiden voyage, within half an hour from the dock it broke down. They don't have enough airplanes to stock their fucking aircraft carriers. They don't have enough soldiers in the whole British Army to fill a soccer stadium. But they're trying to be big and strong and fuck around everywhere in the world. Their wipeout moment is very close. Very close. And more from that, British idiots. NATO can hold out in Ukraine longer than Russia, said British Foreign Secretary David Cameron. Thus Cameron confirmed that NATO is at war with Russia in Ukraine. He probably didn't know that Stoltenberg and others categorically denies this. But he's also not aware of the fact that Britain has got ammunition for 5 days if they should get into a war, a ground war with Russia. NATO has got ammunition for 7 days, but they don't have the soldiers. These people are fucking crazy, but they are panicking all over the show. They don't know which way to fucking run, because the Russian bear is going to eat them. And they know they've got no defense against that. And then we get some news from the Ukraine. Geopolitical tweeted this. Time magazine's 3rd of the year, Vladimir Mini-Führer Zelensky. You are defeated, you bum. Get on a plane to Moscow quickly, quick, and grovel before the feet of Vladimir Putin. Beg for your country to keep its territory and pledge to never join NATO. Your handlers have abandoned you for the next pet proxy war in Israel. Get to Moscow and capitulate before the Russian Tsar to save your rotten ass carcass, you greasy ass dirt daubert. Ray J don't pull punches, and I cannot fault anything there. And then I'm showing you this image. Look at that woman with a bag of cookies. That's where her name of Cookies Newland comes from. During the 2014 Maidan, with Kiev in turmoil, people dying, this bitch walks around and she dishes out cookies from a plastic bag. What the fuck is that? But this is how the Americans has fucked up the whole world. And their arrogance is limitless. But the clock is ticking for them. And then more from the Ukraine. I'm not going to read the whole article. You can stop the thing and read the whole article. I'm going to read the headline for you. The Ukrainian armed forces continue to mobilize teenagers. This time they recruited almost a whole platoon from an orphanage. And in the article the guy says, so if they die on the front, nobody is going to ask questions about them. They're orphans. Let that sink in. And here comes the joke, another joke for the day. Incapacitated by a bird, F-35A stealth fighter retired from the service of South Korean Air Force. Abrams tanks are afraid of dirt. F-35A are afraid of birds. What's wrong with American weapons? An F-35A stealth fighter damaged by a bird is disabled in South Korea. During the flight, the plane collided at an altitude of 300 meters with an eagle, which was sucked into the vacuum pump. The damage is so extensive that repairs will cost almost the same as a new plane. It has now become known that repairing the aircraft will cost $100 million. The collision caused numerous breakdowns and failure of some systems. A total of 300 damages were counted. This is the plane that the Americans banked on to be their super weapon and wonder weapon to wipe out Russia. The fucking thing is so full of bugs, it's unbelievable. And then we get to this, and I'm going to ask the question that I've asked on Twitter. What the fuck is up with those uniforms? What is that? In the past, in sci-fi fictions, we saw people with uniforms like that, and they were the big rulers. Look at this, let it sink in, and start thinking. You don't understand how close we are to being exterminated by cretins like this. And now we get to the back page, and this time the prudes need not close their eyes, because I selected these images because I'm a keen photographer and I've been a photographic judge in many salons. This is images that was entered into a photographic salon in Russia. Look at the images and just enjoy it for what it is. Excellent images. Okay, some good shots there. And I want to say again, sorry guys that I'm so late to this thing, but I'm very busy. My channel shows it. I have published last night, I think it was, or yesterday, over the weekend, I published the 1,000th video. 1,000 videos on my channel since April 2022. Think about that. Let that sink in. And I don't see any other one-man operation. I've got zero assistance on the productions that can do that. 1,000 videos in that short period of time. But none of this would have been possible without your support. And I thank you for your support. Enjoy your Sunday. It's a fun day. And enjoy your family. And take care of your children. And pay special attention to your children. And very important, you must touch your children. Touch them with your hands. Touch them. Because the fucking XXX cretins is trying to separate us physically. Never forget the value of human touch. Have a great day.